Start recording. Okay, we're back with Stephen Selby. It's been a good couple of years. Stephen got in touch recently about something else, but then I thought I'd use the opportunity to see what Stephen has been up to recently and what he's been busy with. So, Stephen, good to see you again. How are
Yeah,
things
and to
your
see
side?
you. Yeah, it has been a bit of time.
Yes, I think either I just got busy with things as life happens and we get distracted, but it was good coincidence that you got in touch again. Um, Stephen, you've been working on some recent, I think, editing or books, I believe, or manuscripts that you mentioned recently.
That's right. Yes. Well, I've been through a patch. Luckily, it's over now, where I'd had a real big problem with my eyesight. But as you can see now, I'm talking to you without spectacles, and my reading distance up to about a foot is okay.
Excellent. Good to hear.
Beyond that, I still need specs. So I'm going to keep trying without my specs, but inevitably I'll press the wrong button before long,
No problem.
make a complete mess of our discussion. So yeah, during the last 2 years, I haven't really been able to shoot, and I
Mm,
haven't got back into it. But I mean, to be honest, shooting was never my great thing. I'm a researcher, not a shooter.
right.
So um, I I've been doing research in a couple of areas, and sometimes I'm asked to give a talk on something or go and give a demonstration. Um, I think you know that I sometimes get asked to do a workshop on Chinese traditional archery.
Mm,
Um, and I developed my own sort of syllabus,
hmm
mainly aimed at beginners, at least beginners in Chinese archery, although
mm,
the students might not be beginners in archery altogether. They could be quite accomplished archers.
yeah.
So anyway, then I found recently in Hong Kong that most of the people who are asking me to do a workshop are not beginners at all, even in Chinese archery.
Mm,
So I tried a sort of a different approach. I said I made a copy of a Qing dynasty book. Now Qing dynasty was like uh, uh, like the last 300 years,
yeah.
really.
Okay.
Um, so 1644 to 1911, and I took.
Would that be, sorry to interrupt, would that be considered the last dynasty, I suppose, the last main
Yeah, it was the
Chinese
last
dynasty,
imperial
the
dynasty of China.
Qing dynasty, right?
Right. So I selected a book not too long and not too complicated and
Mm,
reasonably clear. And I said, I would say to the students, okay, whatever you learn, let's just put it aside for a bit and try and follow step by step
mm,
exactly as this
mm,
book
mm,
says. Um, Inevitably, none of them ever did it.
mm,
They'd all fall back immediately into their comfort zone
mm,
of whatever they were doing, which was not necessarily wrong.
mm.
But what I was saying is, whatever you think is right or wrong, follow the book,
Right, yeah.
and we'll go step by step according to what that book says.
Mm,
Which involved me having to explain the book because they are in classical Chinese, and sometimes the vocabulary was quite obscure.
mm,
Anyway,
mm.
um,
Was
that
this
led me.
this book was a like a manuscript, and was it written by uh an actual archer themselves or a general or something like that, or
It was written by a bloke um, that we know nothing about really, except what he
okay.
writes about himself. And I'm just trying to see whether I had brought up a copy of it here, and I had, and inevitably it's disappeared. So I'm
Okay,
going
no
to look off
problem.
screen for a moment,
That's fine.
and um, uh, I'm going to bring it here now. How am I going to share with you? I've got to use the share screen. Um,
Yes,
so
I'll put here multiple participants can share simultaneously, so you
yeah,
should have an option to be able to share, I hope.
okay. Um, and share. Yeah, right. Okay. So I want to share probably this one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know what you're getting here now. I'll probably
Uh,
press.
we're getting like a
Keep.
slither of the screen and some.
Okay.
Okay, that yeah, we've got the main screen now. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So this is the introduction to his book, and he
Mm.
explains a little bit about who he is. And his name is Hu Bingzhong,
Mm.
and uh, you're seeing that on your main screen now with me scrolling, right?
Yes, yes, correct.
So that's his introduction, and then here's his chapter headings.
Mm.
Then we have these sort of pictures, which I can just talk
Mm.
about in a minute. But
Okay.
what I was really saying was, okay, folks, let's just follow this exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, anyway, that led me down a rabbit hole of
Mm-hmm.
thinking, what were these books? Who wrote them? Who did they
Mm.
write them for?
Mm.
How were they published? So I've been working on an article which is actually going to be a chapter in a book. I don't know if you heard the name Francois Chow or Hing Chow?
No, I haven't.
Hing.
No.
Okay. He was an archery student of mine, but has now done a lot of publishing, and he published a quite a large volume 2 years ago
Mm.
of serious articles on Chinese archery, and he's preparing for a second volume. Um, so it's in a series called Chinese Archery Studies.
Okay.
Um, so anyway, I'm preparing a chapter for that, and what I've started doing, just saying what I've been doing is firstly a discussion of the history of cataloging
Mm.
Chinese archery books. I'm not trying to produce a catalog. I'm just
Right.
saying this is how people approach cataloging them in the past,
Mm.
up to the most recent one I know, which is Professor Ma Mingda. Ma Mingda is in the Jinan University in Guangzhou, and he's produced, I think, the most complete catalog of Chinese archery books.
Mm.
Um, so then, what I was really wanting to find out was what sort of people were the authors, what were the readers, how they were published.
Mm.
Uh, so first, looking at the readers. Um, the first thing is that there's nothing really recorded, or not much interest in archery in, say, as a sport or in
Mm.
hunting. There's some interest in actual military archery in the battlefield, but we're talking
Mm.
about the Ming and Ching dynasty period, when already people were using firearms.
Mm.
So the real motivation for reading an archery book is to prepare for the military examination.
Right.
The examination had three parts. The first part was an outside event, which was horseback archery.
Yes.
After doing that, and only if you passed that, you would go into a series of topics. One of them was archery on foot.
Yeah.
And all the other activities were simply tests of strength.
I see.
And the archery on foot, they had very specific requirements, and a lot of them reflected the ritual ideals set out in Confucius's work on archery.
Mm.
So that apart from hitting the target, there would be some sort of aesthetic. Can you see this picture now?
With the hand?
No,
Okay.
over the hand, maybe.
Oh, there's some.
Okay, we're not sharing the screen, right? We're sharing an image, I think. Um,
Yeah,
um,
I can see
okay.
your arrow moving
Yeah, okay.
cursor.
I have to change to, okay, I'm going to stop share.
Okay.
And now I'm going to put that down and start share with a new image.
Mm.
Okay, you should be getting this one
Ah,
now.
I see. Yes. All right.
Okay, so
Mm.
this is, for example, showing how you should finish the shot
Mm.
in
Okay. The
in
follow
the in
through.
the
Oh,
imperial
yeah.
examination.
Right.
Um,
Interesting.
and
Okay.
all right, with the sort of arm flung back.
Mm.
This is Qing dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a Manchu thing.
I see. Right.
And also, if you look at the character here, he's wearing he's got an official Manchu hat,
Yes.
and he's got his hair in a cur and his
Yes.
front of his head shaved, and he's
Mm.
wearing a traditional military Qing uniform.
Mm.
So now, if we get out of
And
that,
and he has a thumb ring on, I see.
oh yes, absolutely required.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
okay, and now I'm going to share another image.
Mm.
Um, so this is the horseback archery.
I see. Yeah.
They were not great at well, there were some beautiful pictures of horses,
Yeah.
but this is not one of the best ones. Um,
Okay.
um, but what he's saying here is that he's at full draw,
Mm-hmm.
shooting off to the side.
Yes.
And everybody had to shoot right-handed. There were no left-handed
Oh, I
archers.
see. Really. Okay.
It
Right.
wasn't allowed.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and then on the left is they actually have a little poem. So these characters
Mm.
um, somewhat rhyme,
Mm.
and then it explains the poem. Um, and he's saying that your left arm and your right arm are above the stirrups,
Mm-hmm.
um, and you draw the bow up until it's level with your ear,
Mm.
uh, and then um, so this is his instructions for that.
Mm.
Um,
Two questions,
yeah,
Stephen. So the Qing dynasty would have been running parallel to the Ottoman dynasty. Would that be correct?
to the latter part, yes, yeah,
The latter
that's right.
part of the because I think
Yes,
the latter part of the Ottoman dynasty ended early 1900s
yes, right.
as well.
So actually, Ottoman archery and Saracen archery really strongly influenced the previous dynasty, the Ming
Mm,
dynasty.
I see.
Um, and in fact, the Qing were rather keen to wipe out that influence, i.e., that was Ming stuff,
I see. Right.
and they wanted Manchu stuff. They didn't want Chinese stroke Ottoman stroke Saracen
I
stuff.
see. They wanted to
So
be a
the
little bit
design of the
more.
bows
So
changed and
yeah,
everything.
I see.
Uh,
Second question was,
yeah.
so you said with the horse archers they were only allowed to be right-handed. Um, how would they have um catered for shooting or targets on the other side of the horse, on the offside?
When they were in the battlefield,
Hmm.
they would they should really be able to shoot left and right hand.
Right.
Okay, but for the military examination, it was right-handed only.
Ah, okay, just the examinations. I got you. Okay,
Yes,
fine. Right.
and it was the same actually when if we take the archery on foot, it
Mm,
was always right-handed only,
I see.
uh, and left-handed would not be an approved style. It wouldn't have been allowed.
Interesting.
Um,
Okay.
so in the military examination, you had the horseback archery, followed by the foot archery, which was part of a set of other activities, but only the archery was a skill.
Mm,
The rest were all tests of strength.
mm-hmm,
And then finally, there was the written examination, but you could not get into the written examination
mm,
unless you had successfully completed the previous two sessions.
I see. Okay, so it's quite a high standard to pass.
Well, actually, the actual standard was reputed to be very poor.
Oh,
In fact, the whole of um, the syllabus of
mm.
the military division of the examinations was held up to ridicule.
Oh, really? Interesting. Okay.
Yes, and it made one think why anybody ever put their name down for it.
Mm,
Uh, but I mean, two things do emerge. Firstly, even in the ridiculed military examination, if you passed it, you
mm,
got a rank, and you could go back home to your village with a great deal of face.
I see.
Um, Now, the other thing was that failing the examination was not a bar to promotion in the army,
Mm,
but the leaders, the highest levels of officials in the army had actually passed the military examination at a high level.
I see. Right.
It wasn't just a basic level. There were three.
Mm,
It would be like taking a bachelor's, a master's, and a doctorate almost.
hmm So was it more of an exercise just to kind of get numbers in? They had the bar very low so that they would allow a lot of numbers in into the army, or
No, the bar wasn't low. Actually, it was very high. The success rate was very low. But there
oh,
was
okay.
just a huge demand. Um, with the in the Ming and the Ching, I mean, there were disasters, there were wars, but China's population, exploded,
Mm,
um, and resources were not great, and so people would compete in any way they can to get one up on the other.
yeah, I see.
Um, so I think that's why there was, and I've been talking about the military examination, but the literary examination had huge prestige,
Hmm.
and it was you couldn't get an official post without having passed the literary examination.
I see. Okay.
Anyway, so we could establish who the readership was
Mm,
for the archery books, and I examined several of them in detail, and one or two points do jump out at you. The first is that in the introduction to the books, people say people have been signing up for the examination, having picked things up, here and there from friends, and they fail.
mm,
Or they have been finding, we're now in the Qing dynasty, and they've been finding archery books from the Ming dynasty,
mm,
and they fail because Ming technique was not acceptable in the Qing.
yeah,
So what they're saying is you've got to read this book, which tells you exactly in detail about the Qing dynasty syllabus, and then you'll
mm,
pass. And the syllabus, of course, included hitting the target,
mm,
but there were all sorts of movements and expressions, and particularly pulling the bow without showing a strained expression either in your body or in your face.
mm.
Um, and if you hit the targets and you were struggling and straining, then you failed.
I see. I see.
So the
So,
books treat quite a lot about those details.
mm, so they're definitely focusing on having strong archers, aesthetically as well.
Yes, exactly that.
Mm,
Uh,
mm,
and then I looked at the question who wrote the books, and um, some of them were to preserve family traditions, even from the Ming dynasty. A lot of books had been destroyed in the various rebellions, the Taiping Rebellion, the Boxer Rebellion, and people were trying to restore these books that had been written in the Ming dynasty, really to preserve family honor.
mm,
Um, so that was one category. Another category was sort of gentleman enthusiasts who were literati people who were interested in the Confucian rituals, which included archery.
mm,
Um, and then one interesting thing emerging from one of the introductions was that it's actually Hu Bingzhong, the book that I just showed you just now with all the Chinese text. He
mm,
says, I originally planned to take the literary examination, but I'd always been interested in martial arts, and I failed the literary examination. So I decided to try for the military examination, and I managed to pass that.
mm.
And you can, whether that was common or not for people who had a literary background, then passed the military examinations. But then um, you can see his literary background in his writing.
Mm.
It's very, very clear that his writing, at least in the introduction, is in the style of a military examination, of a literary examination paper, and full of quotations from the classics. Um, but another important point is about authorship.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of the time, these so-called authors were not authors of the books at all. They were
Uh-huh.
simply collators or copiers of
Mm.
books that had been written in the past. And Hu Bing-chung, actually, although we gained a lot from the introduction to his book about society and about how people and why people learned archery, he then goes on to copy a book
Mm.
from early in the Ming in the Qing dynasty. Um, and so we get some information about who wrote the books or collated the books, who they were for. And
Mm.
then I've done a bit of a study of the actual economics of publishing these books.
Mm-hmm.
Once a book was written down, it had to be put onto wood blocks. And although that was a very skilled task, the
Mm.
labor for it was very cheap.
I see.
And it meant that instead of like today, if you wanted to publish a book on archery, you'd
Mm.
more or less have to persuade a publisher that you could at least get 5,000
Mm-hmm.
copies sold. But these books were carved and then printed to order.
I see.
So once the rather cheap job of getting the blocks together and carved had been done, people would just come along and order a copy, and they'd be produced one copy at a time.
Oh, I see. Right.
So it was quite economical
Mm.
to publish the books. But it also meant they were never published in huge quantities
Mm.
unless they were incorporated into some other book which was published in quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then looking at the style of presentation, of course, there's straight text, there's simple text. But also in the Ming and Ching, a lot of use of illustrations. And I'm going to show you one now because it's quite interesting. Wait a moment, please.
Okay.
Okay, have you got this one here?
Yes, I can see the diagram.
Yeah, okay. Now, the importance of this was that people who could read and had learned the classics are not full of expressions for intimate parts of the body.
Mm.
And when it comes to intimate parts of the body, your bum, your shoulder blade, your elbow, whatever, every dialect and every region in China uses different words.
Mm.
So it's imagine that if you're trying to indicate your bum, it could be your backside or your
I see.
butt
Yeah.
or
Right. Yeah.
bottom or something. But in English, those words are generally understood.
Mm.
But in China, with all of its many, many dialects, each dialect might have a completely different word.
Mm.
So here, his innovation is, okay, I'm going to do an illustration where all of these parts of the bodies that I'm going to talk about are all illustrated here. So this is not trying to show a real sort of image of a person. It's just saying, this is where your elbow is, this is
I
where your
see.
fist, this is where
Right.
your knee is, this is where your crutch is.
Mm. Mm.
And then also when it comes to like a detailed, let's get something off here, close that, half a moment. We're going to do another one. So here he's
Mm.
showing the Manchu method of actually gripping the bow. So this is the bow grip.
Ah, right. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got no thumb rings here.
Mm-hmm.
And left hand, of course, gripping the bow,
Mm-hmm.
left hand drawing. And so, he's saying, okay, this is the web of the thumb. And the
Yes.
Manchu method, you point your finger
Mm.
forward to touch the arrow, which is running here, okay?
I see.
This is not the Ming way. The Ming way, the finger would bend over and
Mm.
touch the thumb.
Right, right.
And then he's saying and gripping lightly and giving quite a lot of detail. So they were
Mm.
using these images to give you detail.
Mm.
about about the methods.
Very good. Two quick questions. What did the literary exam consist of? Because you're saying that was something that was quite highly respected and was maybe harder to pass.
Yes. Well, there were a corpus of basic Confucian texts.
Mm.
They're quite long, and they could be by Confucius, but also somebody like Mencius, or who's a disciple of or later disciple, or other commentators. Also, the rituals, the books of poetry, the books of history,
Mm.
they had to be learnt by heart.
Oh, I see. Memorized, right.
So it would be a bit like these experts who learn the Quran
Mm.
and learn to recite the whole of the Quran.
Mm.
And then they might be reciting the Ahadith and the other major works of Islam.
Mm.
They
Mm.
they were studying and analyzing up to that level,
I see.
so that they
Mm.
they would be studying up to the level of a very senior and respected imam.
I see.
Um,
Mm.
and they had an examination where they had to sit in very difficult conditions in a hut,
Mm.
separated from all other students. Every student had their own hut. They had to take their food and they had to sit for 3 days,
Mm.
uh, shitting in a pot.
All
Um,
right.
and they had to bring their own food, and whatever the weather was, um, they had to write the answers to exam questions
Mm.
based on the Confucian classics and in a very specific style. It was much, much more demanding than anything that ever appeared in the military examination.
Mm.
And the number of people who actually, every year, maybe 10 or 11,000 people for every session. I think it was 2 yearly sessions. Every session,
Mm.
tens of thousands, okay, would
Wow.
apply,
Mm.
and a very small number would pass.
Maybe t tens or few hundred, maybe, or less than that.
A few hundred at the lower level.
Mm. Mm.
And then it might be that three of the top exam papers might be referred up for special praise.
Mm. I
And
see.
then there was, and the exams were all held in local centres. And then people who passed them could go on to take a more senior level, and then
Mm.
a third more senior level. And the most senior level was actually supervised by the emperor.
Mm.
So
Interesting.
it was a completely different thing.
Yeah. The other question was, what would you say is the main difference between looking at the Ming and the Qing dynasty, and why was the uh, well, how did the Qing take over from the Ming? Was there a war, or was it like
Okay,
a
well, the
usurping or something?
differences the differences are mainly in the style. In fact, the Ming dynasty is in a sense more practical, um,
Mm.
and the stance of the archer is more like, even when he's doing standing archery, it's more like a riding on horseback,
I see.
with the feet placed almost parallel or slightly off parallel, slightly
Mm.
open, um, and the arms um, straight across are not raised,
Right.
and then the finger um, uh, not pointing forward but
Mm.
over,
I see.
and
Yeah.
one or two other details.
Mm.
Uh, as far as the fall of the Ming dynasty is concerned, it gradually became weak under weak emperors and corruption,
Mm.
um, and some rather silly financial economic policies. Um, and in the meantime, the Manchus in the northeast were gaining power. Um, there was also a certain amount of will among the Ming dynasty
Mm.
to serve the Manchus. And finally, over a number of years, the Manchus defeated the whole of China, and
Mm.
exerted rule over China, Mongolia, and Tibet.
Hmm. Okay. Um, Slightly sidestepping. I think you were in the UK, was it last year for a
I've been in the
uh
UK this year. Yeah.
but you did a like an outdoor clinic at
Oh yes, that's right. I did one in was it Harry?
Kensington or somewhere?
Yeah, Kensington Park. That's right,
Kensington
Kensington
Park.
Park.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
happened to arrive a little bit late, but we didn't get a chance to actually greet because it was quite busy there. But that was a very, very interesting session. I think it was a good couple of hours. Um,
it's now that was one of the sessions where the participants were very accomplished traditional archers, not
mm,
necessarily Chinese, and where I was saying to them, okay, put aside for a moment what you know
yes.
already, which is a
Mm,
lot,
hmm,
more than me possibly, but
right.
let's just focus on the Chinese instruction book.
Mm,
Try and follow these instructions step by step and see what it feels like to actually do exactly what they're saying.
yeah.
Because everyone, I think people who learn Asian traditional archery sort of pick one or 2 points here and 1 or 2 points there that
Yes.
either fit their style or their feeling or their sense of for instance, if you're Turkish, you might want to
Mm,
be associated with Turkish archery.
right.
Uh, if you're from Tunisia, you might be more interested in Arab archery,
Mm,
like me,
yeah.
uh, or Japanese. But
There's always a slight bias, I
often,
suppose.
well, yes, a bias is fine. I mean, everybody has a bias, but
Mm,
just then you say to that, okay, now you just follow the instructions step by
mm,
step,
mm,
just like like we make a cake.
yes.
Um, Everybody might change the recipe around a bit, but if I say to you every gram for gram,
Yes.
milliliter for milliliter, and degree centigrade for degree centigrade, you follow this.
Mm,
It's just an experience and a help to sort of break through the comfort zone.
yeah. Yeah. Um, the Zoom chat is telling me we just have about 5 minutes left, unfortunately. But
Mm,
um, yeah, what I just wanted to kind of mention on that. What one thing that we've been busy with here in the UK, or me myself specifically, is um getting involved with the Mamluk archery.
yeah,
And so with one of our teachers from Turkey, Alperen, he's basically um much like the manuscript you have here from the Qing dynasty. There's a manuscript from the 13th century officer. His name is Teiboga,
yeah,
and
yeah. I know this book.
you're familiar, I'm sure. And
Yes,
so what we've tried to do is basically um, bring it up to the present day and make a curriculum from that. Um, And this weekend, in fact, we've been working on a project with Archery GB, which is the governing body here for archery, and they're going to adopt. We've made a simplified thumb draw syllabus for them that they will officially adopt as their thumb draw syllabus in Archery GB, which hasn't yet been done. So, somewhat of a
sorry, it's a bit
milestone.
dark, but
That's all right.
yeah,
It's all right.
okay, there we are.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So somewhat of a milestone for Mamluk archery, but also for thumb draws in general. But like you say, there are
mm,
many thumb draw shooters out there, but they don't necessarily have a curriculum that that they have learnt from. They've just found things that work for them,
right.
and they
Well, I
kind
must
of
bring you to one very, very final quick
please.
point, that Xu Kaicai and the leaders of traditional archery in China, the old brigade,
Mm,
have drawn their attention to the writing of Metin Ateş
ah,
and and how traditional archery is being maintained in Turkey, and
mm,
they're very excited about it. And they actually have asked me next month to go. I don't know why they couldn't. Maybe it was difficult for them to invite Metin because he doesn't speak Chinese. So they asked
mm,
me. I'm not trying to represent Turkey in any way, but they
okay.
they want me to share how it is that the Tur Turkish archery, they're avoiding going down a line of the lowest common denominator,
Right.
which is what happens when you go into international competitions, and
Yes.
try and create something that I wouldn't call it pure, because I
Mm.
don't think the physical stamina and strength these days to do pure
No.
stuff.
Yeah.
We don't exclude women from it, and we don't, there's,
Right.
but a uh, so they want to understand how Turkey, for instance, has obtained the cultural heritage stamp,
Yes.
and how the government has funded, and particularly how they're keeping up a certain type of cultural standard in Turkish archery. This has
I see.
excited them a lot. And so we're going to have a big meeting in Xi'an in the beginning of September.
Okay. That you're going over to Turkey, you said, or
No, no, I'm going to Xi'an.
oh,
It would have
Siani.
been
Okay.
nice if they had invited people from Turkey, but the
Mm.
people who are in the discussion on the Chinese side, not one of them understands English.
I see. I
We
see.
try and put this thing into AI, and you get a complete mess if it comes to archery.
Right. Okay. So you're just hoping to kind of bridge the gap and translate,
Yes.
I suppose. Excellent. Okay. Well, how about we can maybe reconvene after that meeting if there's anything interesting that came from that. It might be
Yes,
good
and I'll be
to
very interested to know what the Mamluk archery discussions and syllabus are like. I suppose it's all in Turkish.
well, originally it was Kipchak Turkish into Ottoman, and then we've now kind of translated it into modern English. So we do have a copy. I'll actually send you a copy for you to look at. Um, and yeah, that might be a good discussion topic for our next meeting if possible.
Brilliant. Okay, though of course I'm ignorant about Mamluk archery except having read the book. But
Don't worry, you're a man of vast experience, so I'm sure it would be quite easy for you to read.
too
But
polite.
excellent,
But it's
Stephen.
been
So,
brilliant talking to you anyway. Thank you very
yeah,
much for
no,
the
thank
chat.
you for your time. I appreciate your time, and I know you're busy, and we hope that your eyes improve so that we can benefit from you much longer.
Well,
And
the fear of my eyes. I'm not wearing spectacles, and I haven't
excellent.
pressed too many wrong buttons.
No, no, it's been perfect. So thank you once again, Stephen, and we'll be in touch.
Cheers. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. All right.